Ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents, got a little bit of Charles and Eddie, and they want to just know, do you think that they would? I think they would. Hold on, let me cut them short. All right, ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents, I have been tired of movies lately because they're so cliche-ish. They always end up the same way. The actors are always overacting, always trying to get their cameo and their little. Take a good look at my right side. Okay, now film the left. Okay, because that's my better view. And they're always playing to the camera. Every movie, there is no real acting. Sorry, and I'm gonna say it again because y'all don't get it, but I'm a hope that some of y'all will get it. I don't care what anybody say. Will Smith, that idiot, that fool can act. Like I said, every movie that he's played in, it has always been a different character. It's never been Will Smith. As people have said, Denzel Washington, no matter what movie Denzel has played in, he's always been Denzel Washington. But Will Smith, when you're watching a movie, go back and look at The Pursuit of Happiness and tell me if you don't recognize it. All right. Besides that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that I said it was October 7th, and so many other people agreed that October 7th, everything changed. Now, I've done videos saying the exact same thing. October 7th, everything changed. But it wasn't October 7th. I believe the exact day was March 4th, 2022. Now, you're saying, what happened March 4th, 2022? How soon people forget. How soon people forget. March 4th, 2022 was the day the infamous Will Smith and Little Rock, Third Rock from the Sun. Okay, Merry Christmas Rock. Yeah, that was the day that rocked the nation. I believe that was the day for the original distraction. As I keep saying, when they are doing something that they want to hide from the people because they don't want it to be too obvious, they need to give the people a distraction. It has been sports. So you'll see something change in sports, somebody gets arrested and all of that. Those are distractions, people. Remember, the powers that be that control everything understand what's going on before you understand what's going on. And so if somebody's getting ready to be arrested, somebody's getting ready to go through something, somebody's getting ready to be outed, so to speak, they've known about it before it happens. Will Smith walks up and appears, go back and watch it in slow motion, appears to slap Chris Rock. And Chris Rock appears to be taken off guard. Ladies and gentlemen, as I said from the very beginning, all of that's rehearsed. Chris Rock's whole spiel is rehearsed. Why? Because they want to make sure of what he's saying before he says it. Even though they have a 5-second delay in all live productions since the Janet Jackson, Justin Timberlake fiasco, wardrobe malfunction. They called it a wardrobe malfunction. You know, some idiot attorney came up with that junk. Well, since then, there has been an automatic delay in live performances. Well, that distraction led to all the other distractions. I keep listening to all the reports from Israel, and Israel's always claiming they found something. Really? And it's all neat and lined up and everything. They found it, though. Okay, that's believable. I believe it. I believe it. I heard about the helicopters. What helicopters? Oh, you got to go do your research. Oh, there were military helicopters somewhere on October 7th. Somewhere in October 7, there were military helicopters. What could they have been in an army barracks? Could they have been in Somalia? Could they have been in Kuwait? Could they have been in Iraq? Where are the military everybody's got military helicopters. That's the point. Except for those people, what's that? West Bank, Gaza, the Palace, whatever that place is, they ain't got no military. Oh, okay. Well, anyway, we ain't gonna talk about that right now. We gotta talk about something else. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just say the last couple of weeks, 2 weeks in a row, there's been a lot of information being put out through YouTube. Yeah, eventually they're gonna come my way because they don't want y'all knowing that stuff. I got people that I've been watching it. I watch it over and over and over and over and over again, and I still don't get it. And that's the point. It wasn't meant for you if you don't get it. And one day you're gonna get that. But for the people who it's meant for, Lord have mercy. They can't stop thanking me because that's the information they needed. Ladies and gentlemen, it is not my job to be your guide in explaining everything. You're supposed to know certain things already. I put together an organization to help y'all have a better grasp on securities. I'll be doing a video on creating securities and the process for creating securities. Many of you think that when you create a security, you have to comply with the SEC. I've done videos showing you how the SEC does not override the March 9, 1933 Act. March 9, 1933 Act covers securities and bonds. They're part of those quote-unquote eligible papers, which you all don't understand. And that's why I could do for you the video talking about promissory notes and how you guys have never seen a bank call a promissory note when they foreclose on a home. They continue to sell that promissory note in perpetuity. Next year, the year after that, after you've been kicked out of the home, you're still the original issuer, but you don't realize that, so you don't continue to collect your OID. Oops. Now, some of y'all not gonna do your research, and you're just gonna jump out there and just start writing OIDs. Okay, y'all don't pay attention. 2011, a lot of people went to jail on the pay attention presumption that they did not have a right to the OID. Not that they did something illegal. They never proved they did anything illegal. They just said they didn't have a right to it. So you have to follow the rules. The rules are you have to do the math. You have to know the percentages. But wait a minute, you don't know the percentages. So how can you do the OID? If you call the broker, he's not going to tell you. He's going to withhold that information from you. He's going to ask you questions. Remember how people were trying to do OIDs on their birth certificates? Okay, I'm going to suggest you don't do that. But I can suggest that there is a security, pay attention, that OIDs can be done on, and there's nothing anybody can do about it because you are the original issuer. You are also the beneficiary for this OID. Pay attention. It's called Social Security. Ladies and gentlemen, you have securities. Pay attention. A minor remains a minor until they gain control of the securities held in the minor's account. So if you can't gain control of it, they don't want you to get control of it, then go ahead and get your interests. Now, hold on now. This ain't for the person who don't know anything about what I said in the other videos and they have no clue. This is for those who are a little bit more advanced. Ladies and gentlemen, it's called Social Securities. That's not just a name. These are the securities that were created in 1933. That's why they were called the Securities Act. Trusts are securities. That's why they have the Trust Indentured Act as part of the Securities Act of 1933. 1934, 1935, all the way to 1939. Securities Act, ladies and gentlemen. That's what this is all about. Securities. It's always been about securities. The problem is these nations and companies have gotten, well, seemingly rich because there is no money. How can you get rich when there is no money? The junk out there has no value. Look, you have the letter from the Treasury, January 4th, 2011. Well, the Treasury admitted that those wonderful Federal Reserve notes have no value except for what they can buy. Really? Well, they can't buy anything. It says it right there on the note. This stupid piece of junk is only good for paying debts. But that's from the Treasury. That's from their website. They took it down in 2022, but we have copies of it, and they've never, ever corrected it. It stayed up there on that site. Pay attention. For 11 years. Okay? Federal Reserve notes have no value. The only value a Federal Reserve note has is when it is accompanied by an application and a promissory note. Many of you have not been understanding that. Just had a conversation with someone about the Treasury and people trying to send communications directly to the Treasury. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot send communications directly to the Treasury. That's why they created the Federal Reserve Act amendment in March 9, 1933 in a presidential proclamation that you have to go through the Federal Reserve or one of its agents. Sorry, Charlie. Now, I tell you, I want y'all to know, when I went through the Treasury, I wasn't going through the Treasury under its government capacity. I was going through the Treasury under its corporate capacity. When I sent it the 5 money orders, 3 for 680 trillion and 2 for 420 trillion, don't y'all do that. Don't y'all play with them. Whew. Anyway, I was establishing credit. I'm glad they never returned anything. All of you people who have had money orders, promissory notes, what do you call those, closed checking account items, and you kept copies, and you better write that junk off. All of that is eligible paper. What? Who gave you the right to do it? Congress did. When did Congress give you the right to write off? Congress gave you that right in 1933 when they took the gold. And they made your eligible paper at par with Federal Reserve notes. Now, does that mean I can just sit up here and write a our style money order or something for 800 quadrillion dollars? No, it has to be for a legitimate purpose. So if you were trying to pay for a necessity, let's say you were trying to buy land and you filled all of it out. But remember, the law says that the Federal Reserve has to make provisions. Well, what if they just denied you just to be denying you? Well, technically, the law doesn't say that they have to accept. It just says that they have to make regulations. And they did. They made a regulation called Operating Circular Number 3. That was the regulation. And when they made that regulation, people, when they made the regulation for Operating Circular Number 3, as a matter of fact, y'all hold on for a second. I gotta do something real quick. 1 second. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. The gentleman's name was Terrence B. Terrence B was the one who sent me the operating circular. He says he wanted, when I went back and read the email, it was a year ago, the 26th of November, 2022. The moment he sent it, I just posted it, did a video, and told everybody to go take a look at it. Never read it, but I just thanked him again because that particular document that he sent, Mr. Terrence B., when he sent the document, ladies and gentlemen, it simply was the clarification that was necessary because we knew that the Federal Reserve had to provide regulations, and it did so in Operating Circular Number 10. Well, again, because it covers bonds and because it covers notes and because it covers other securities, you don't really get it, do you? You get to write your own bonds and notes, and because you're requesting the capacity to operate as one of those any Federal Reserve banks, you do have to apply through a lender, a so-called local Federal Reserve agent. That's what the so-called statute says. Okay. Now there are some people who know how to operate as a local Federal Reserve agent. I'm not going to tell you how to do that because that's not my job. But again, all you need is the application. Now remember, if you understand operating circular number 10, appendix number 3, then you understand that you're asking for the capacity to operate. Uh-oh. There you go. Now, hold on now. You have the right to your necessities. All of you. Your grandmama too. You have the right to your necessities. You cannot be denied the right to your necessities. Okay? That's why even individuals who commit crimes, whether it be murder, rape, anything else, they have the right to their necessities while in jail. That's why they have to provide them the basic necessities. They've been trying to work out ways where they don't have to provide it, but nobody's challenged that. And that's a disadvantage for those individuals because everybody has the right to their necessities. The simple, bare necessities. Why do you think they did the stupid Baloo in the Jungle Book? It's the simple, bare necessities. Okay? Why do you think they did that? Why do you think they did that song that stays on my mind? Why do you think they did that? Y'all really need to pay attention. Now, the reason why I did this video, because I'm about to go, I want to show y'all something. Give me one more second. I've been watching things like this right here. Hold on.
Explaining the nature of your deal. I appreciate the candor. Seems it's all for one and one for all, if we're to survive.
Now, as you all can see, that's a gameplay. This is just a video game. That they're just taking the scenes from the video game and they're just playing it. And this has been my entertainment, y'all. I don't mind the switching of the screen or anything. I'm listening to the storyline. And what I've been watching as of late is Detroit Become Human. Marcus and Connor, and I'm watching Kara now. But let me just say this. I'm very impressed with that particular series. There's another one I watched. Well, I watched the whole Halo series, and I can honestly say I think it was Halo that really got me into all of this. The Halo cinematography series. Okay. I really, 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 really watch this almost every single day. I can't watch a lot because it puts me to sleep. Are you saying it's boring? No, I'm saying that when I watch it, it's my distraction. It's the time to go to sleep. I went to sleep at 6 o'clock, woke up at 10. Well, 10:20, and roughly almost 6 o'clock. It was like 5:45. I went to sleep because I was tired. I'd been up doing videos since 6 o'clock. From 6 to 9:30, I did videos for you people trying to help y'all's out. And then after that, I took care of some other stuff, did some work around the place, and it was time to relax. And tomorrow will be just another long day, going back and doing the same routine. This is wintertime, so this is when I start to slow down and start to be less active. I hibernate. And because of that, I said, let me go ahead and explain this to these people what the sacrifice is. Here's the thing. I could have kept my mouth shut and kept this information to myself. I didn't have to tell you guys about doing a call on your promissory note. I didn't have to tell you guys about the dual collaterals or the two collateral issues. I didn't have to tell you guys about promissory notes or securities or sitting up there doing OID is the right way, doing the math. You didn't have to do any of that. Nobody else was talking about any of this stuff. And if they were, they weren't giving you any details. They were just talking out the side of their neck. But go back and look and see how when I do things, I show you what I'm doing. I show you the law. Ain't that interesting? I tell you exactly where I'm getting my information from so that you can start your research from there. Many of you, I don't want to do no research. That means I have to start from the beginning. If you want to be an expert at something, of course you start from the beginning. You start from the foundation. You go right to the core. You cannot be an expert at nothing. Pay attention. You cannot be an expert at nothing. It's impossible. Nobody can be an expert at doing nothing. Okay? Because if they're an expert at doing nothing, that means they're an expert at something. So you can never be an expert at nothing. So if you're going to want to do something, you need to learn everything about that something before you can do it. And once you become that expert, nobody can stop you. Nobody can tell you what to do because you're the expert. You tell them what they can do. Okay? So if you're going to pick a subject, pick one. Don't pick five or six. So many of you guys are trying to combine what you all refer to as processes. You don't get to do that. You have to follow their rules and procedures. They're the administrators. Okay? If you follow their rules and procedures, what can they say? Shame on y'all for not understanding this. Shame on y'all for listening to these people on YouTube who just talk and talk and talk and be telling y'all they did this and they did that and don't show y'all a single bit of proof, but then want to charge y'all for getting the information from them. Ladies and gentlemen, it is because of stuff like that that, well, SATCOM was set up because I needed to create some securities. And I need to create securities with maturities that over SATCOM got started in 2012. Okay. 11 years, ladies and gentlemen. 11 years. Going on 12. And guess what? Not a single claim that the securities were unlawful. Not a single claim. That's what SATCOM was doing, was creating securities. And because the original securities created originally with business credits back in 2012, because those original securities were created and when they were put together and there have been no challenges, they are way past their maturity. They only had a 2-year maturity date. And because they had a 2-year maturity date, that 2 years is up. But the calling of the securities and taking care of the securities, oh, these securities, I want y'all to understand. 2012 is when the money orders were sent to the Treasury, letting them know that I was sitting up here taking care of whatever the estate's debt was. I was taking care of that. Ooh, that was over $2 zillion. 2 zillion. My mama can't even say zillion. $2 zillion. Now, hold on. In part, it was also to explain that there is no debt, that every dollar was equal, according to the Gold Repeal Act. A uniform value of all currency in the United States is dollar for dollar. That's its uniform value. So all dollars are equal. So 2.2 zillion dollars is the same as $1. Now, however, because they never returned mine, whew, and they never timely dishonored it, oh well, I appreciate the credits. I appreciate the credits. Return the same to my account is what I told them. And now I'm gonna sit up here and continue to document my credits. I bring complaints against these agencies. I put an arbitration clause attached to it. They don't respond. We have the arbitration hearing. They don't respond. Do you know when you don't respond while you have a duty to respond, you're in default? Oops. Well, they're in default. I ain't got to prove it. I just have documentation showing that they failed to do this and they failed to do that. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, anyway. And because they failed to do what they were required to do, then that's all she wrote. And she ain't got time for writing nothing else. Okay? She ain't got time for writing nothing else. That's all she wrote. And now I'll tell all of you. You can't do what I did because you don't know all the details of what I did. You're only hearing the basics of what I did. So don't play games. Don't play games. There's penalties for that. Okay? Remember, that's what Puerto Rico was all about. That's when even the Puerto Rican government held me for 2.5 years and then released me without a trial. Wouldn't let me appeal or nothing. Well, technically, wouldn't let me appeal. No, no, no. That was what one of the arbitrations were for. Okay? That whole time, I got to write up. But remember, it's come at a cost. Don't play games. You guys are not. No, no, no. Trust me. You, especially now, you can't afford that cost. I got one more thing I want to talk about. I started the conversation talking about it, about October 7th, but I tell you, I don't believe it was October 7th. I do believe it was the May 4th date, 2022, the slap heard around the world. I believe that was it. Literally, I believe that was the beginning. That was the greatest distraction. Why? Because everybody had a side. Everybody picked a side. One person picked one side or another, and I told you guys that was staged. From the very beginning, we all knew it was staged. We knew something was wrong with that situation because Will Smith, that wasn't his character. Yeah, fine. Some guy walked up to him and he slapped him. Okay? So now they get to say he has a habit of slapping people. No, when that guy walked up to him in the 90s and kissed him in front of everyone, pay attention, pay attention. That was to out the man as being homosexual. That's why he slapped that fool. Now, mind you, now they could use that and saying he had a history of slapping people. I told you guys, Will Smith trained for Ali. And when Will Smith trains for a role, he goes all out. Go ahead and ask anybody. Go back and look at his interviews. He takes it very seriously. Will Smith slapped Chris Rock. Excuse me, why didn't he sock him in the face? He had the training. And look at how off balance he was when he did it. I'm surprised he didn't fall. So, on a stage with a staged performance, one of the best actors of all time, along with another actor, if you guys don't think they rehearsed and practiced that, because remember, all of those settings are rehearsed. They go to rehearsals. They don't do a live performance just off the cuff. Come on now. That's the Oscars. Of course they rehearsed. Of course they have rehearsals. They used to talk about it all the time about how they're preparing for the Oscars. That's how you know who's hosting the Oscars before it's done. Everything is scripted to the letter. That's how they know when everything is about to happen, commercials, everything. That's how the particular artists know what seat they need to be in and that they're going to be called. And if they are called, blah, 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 blah. It's all rehearsed. So if you don't think those two rehearsed that, and yeah, there can be some animosity between them now. There can be some hatred because when you pretend to dislike somebody and you really go overboard with it, subconsciously you start to dislike the person. Sorry, y'all know what I'm talking about. You can make yourself not like somebody. You can make yourself not like somebody. So that infamous slap heard around the world, I believe, has led to all of the anger and violence and the taking of sides. Because you notice everybody's taking a side. There's so much violence and hatred and assaults on this planet now. In my lifetime, I've not seen this. In my entire lifetime, I have not seen this type of violence. Finally, I realized tonight that, yeah, they're going to come my way, and I'm all right with that. I really am. But I realized if they did, I don't have nobody to turn to. I don't have nobody to talk about this stuff with. Hold on now. All I have is Jehovah. I don't have no human who can help me with any of this. See, you guys, you come to people like me for assistance. Well, I ain't got nobody to go to but Jehovah. Jehovah's got my back. So for those of y'all who worries about me, understand, I fully trust Jehovah. He's my God. I am one of his witnesses. I trust him with all my heart. Why? Because without him, I wouldn't have any of this information. I wouldn't have any of this knowledge. Okay, he wouldn't have given it to me if I wasn't supposed to be telling it. I do know that my life is scripted. I know where everything is going. I've already seen what my future is. I know they're coming my way, at least in the interim, one final time. That won't be pleasant, but I'm okay with that. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and repeat what I said before. On March 9th, 2001, I asked him right after my God, Jehovah, I asked him right after he decided to make a choice. I said, please allow me to know what's going to happen before it happens concerning me, because you know how I don't like surprises. And every single turn, I was given heads up before anything occurred. You don't hear me talking about surprises, do you? Go back and listen to any of my videos talking about, oh, and this thing, I wasn't even expecting that. You won't hear me say words like that unless I'm literally being sarcastic or literally saying I wasn't even suspecting that regarding someone else. Okay, but I told you that I had been waiting for 10 years for the Israel Palestine thing, and it had never gotten to this level, ever. And it could only lead to one thing, some report of some stupid, what's the word for it? Dirty bomb. Something about a dirty bomb in that area. Don't know by which sides or whatever. Don't know who does it or whatever. I just know that there will be a report. How does that affect me? Because that's my signal, not yours. Okay? Just that simple. Again, when that happens, then those of you who've listened to this up to this point, you'll know that, man, he must be telling the truth. Okay. He says his God got his back and he gives him heads up. Okay, well, he was right about that and right about that and right about the pandemic and right about this and right about that. Man, he's been right about a lot of stuff. Well, I guess he must be right about the fact that he got a God that, man, is taking care of him. So don't worry, it's about me, people. I was going to be okay. I decided I was taking down the consult, and right after I did that, too many people reached out to me and said, no, 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 I just can't. I need your help, but I can't afford it right now. So when I can, I'll get in touch with you, but please don't take it away. And so I left it up, but I took the videos down and I reactivated the link. But it's not something that you're going to hear me talk about. I don't need the distraction right now. I am focused on preparing and strengthening my relationship with my God. That's my focus these days. All right, I'm gonna go because, like I said, it's been a long night, and I got to get a couple of good hours of sleep before I have to wake up for a trading session in the morning, and then we have another trading session in the afternoon. Two trading sessions tomorrow. All right. Well, it's almost tomorrow now. We got 2 minutes before it's today. So, gotta go. Y'all take care, all right? Eyes out.